Hello everyone and welcome to TFR round 20, Mexico. Final stint of the season, I suppose. Should be an eventful race today, Mexico being one of the shorter tracks on the calendar as much as it doesn't feel like it or look like it. With a very long run from the start line into turn 1. We are just waiting for all the drivers to connect to the session, get into their cars and get ready for qualifying 1 here today. The Autodromus Hermanos Rodriguez. I think I said that right. I might have said that wrong. I don't know. At the end of Q1 I will try and get some drivers, a driver or two in for post-qualifying interview. I'll try and get drivers who've been knocked out or drivers who just aren't on laps so they can so the drivers in that current qualifying session can focus. But here we details up. I'm not gonna have that. As it looks like the first driver to be out is gonna be a Mercedes off of your boy Mitt. But let me mention here first, today we do have a seat change. Red Hawk has gone from AlphaTauri to Red Bull because because Tadpole, I believe, can't race. We will sit with the Alfa Romeo of Joe Loke, second in the championship at the moment. We'll sit with him around the track. Go for the full onboard here as we make the run down to turn 6 and 7. Now this S section, I believe turn 7 I believe to 11 is very tricky to negotiate sometimes. I'm not too sure why Stevie's on mediums in Q1. As we round now to the final 4 or 5 corners. 4 corners? Yeah, the final 4 corners. As he now comes to start his flying lap, we will commentate this whole lap. As he gets a very, very, very normal, nice run, I suppose, into turn 1. I don't know what to say on this straight. There's going to be a lot of overtaking action, and I can say that for sure. As he takes the esports line through turn 1, doesn't invalidate. Some people do manage to. Doesn't invalidate there as well. It looked like on my eyes that he should have. He invalidates there though on the exit, losing the rear end. So we will go to your boy Mitt for his lap. As he has a snap as well, does exactly what Joe did, but doesn't invalidate. But there's no point watching that because his lap will not be official, I would assume. The next driver on a lap is Stevie, so we will watch Stevie in the Williams. Car number 27 here, going into turn 1. Again, nice run through turn 1. Still confused why he's on the mediums, but we'll go with it. The only driver so far not to have a snap through turn. He makes his run now down to turn 4. As I believe Finn ahead of him, his teammate is on a lap, so we'll go on board with him. He sets the purple sector 1 so far. I believe that's because he's the only driver with a valid lap though, I'm not too sure. It loses the rear end a little bit on the exit. Turn 7 heads now down to turn 8. It's a nice line through turn 8, touching the grass a little bit, what most drivers tend to do. Doesn't seem to affect you for some reason. Goes through turn 10 now, rounds turn 10 very nicely on the exit and invalidates. We will go with Stevie, who doesn't follow his teammate and doesn't invalidate as he makes his run down now to turn 11. Turn 11 negotiated very nicely, going for the run in turn 12 now. as he rounds the penultimate 2 corners. Yes, the penultimate 2 corners. And is going to set the first lap of qualifying, and it's going to be a 1 minute 17.2 on medium, so it's not going to be very representative of anyone's pace here today. As Zoger comes across with a 1 minute 15.5 in the Haas on softs. Believe the next person to be round is Joe, so he's just lost the rear end, but we will stick with him. I believe today's probably going to be quite eventful. As Joe sets the fastest sets too, sorry I missed that. He takes the middle, well, for the end of the third sector very nicely. Corey setting a 1:14 flat, showing his pace already 1.5 seconds quicker than Zoger. Joe's lap should realistically be slower, but it's not. He sets a 1:13.4, going 6/10 quicker than Corey Marshall in the Red Bull racing car. As we have your boy Mitt on another invalidated lap, so we're going to go to Finn, who should be finishing his lap now. Not invalid this time, runs around the final 2 corners. Runs around the final corner out of ERS, and he goes across the line for P4 of the 1:16.2. The Renault of Charlie goes for a 1:15.2, putting himself into P3. I believe Stevie will be boxing. Okay, I'm not gonna ask. I'm not fully sure what's going on here. Red Hawk was quite far back, unless he's on no fuel. But we are going to check on board with him. Going on now, I might hit a thing. You can see Red Hawk has invalidated on his first time lap of the session. We will jump on board with Louise, who has popped himself P3, but he's going for another lap by the looks of things. Not too sure why he'd need to do that. See if Joe makes the crucial mistake he made in Japan, going really long in Q1 for some reason and then lost it. Let's hope he doesn't do that, but done it before, so he's well within the chance of doing it again. As sorry, I zoned out a bit there. JD setting the fastest sector 1 of the session so far. His teammate behind him going to be getting dirty air, but thankfully he's only on an out lap. So they will be, possibly looking for the slipstream effect here, down into turn 1 for Spence. As JD supposedly goes and sets the fastest sector 2 as well. Joe's retired in the pit lane. Only just noticed that one. JD rounds the penultimate corner now, goes around the final corner. Snaps a little bit. That's a 1:13.9. I'm surprised his teammate hasn't stuck with him here to try and get the slipstream. There's something going on up ahead, whether it's just McLaren. Yes, McLaren letting car through. That's all fine. I believe that was Z-Man just setting a lap there, doing a 1:14.8. I'm not sure if that was his already done lap or what, but I can just already see turn 1 of the race. It should be interesting. Apologies for no stream last week as well. We sadly had no one to replace me whilst I filled in for the Renault of JRT Charlie. Yeah, we will be looking to get some drivers in soon for interviews. Possibly not get the bottom 5 in, I suppose, when they on laps have all been set. We have your boy Mitt here on his first valid time lap. As I keep getting lost in thoughts, as we have your boy Mitt rounding through sector 3, going down towards the penultimate turn, going through the penultimate turn, rounding the final turn, and sets a 1 minute 14.4. I feel like he can go faster than that. I'm gonna be honest. He's definitely got pace, so should be able to go a lot faster. As we have JRT White here on an out lap by the looks of things, or a cool down lap. Got Spence off with wing, or not wet Spence, JD, or sure. But what I do know is Zoger in the Haas here is on a lap, so we are going to watch this lap. Not to put any pressure on him, as he is car number 2 here, making his run down towards turn 4. It was a mistake doing this without a drink. It's just commentating and qualifying, and I'm already struggling. I'll disappear in a minute for it. Have Zoger going through turn 8 now, down turn 9, turn 10, turn 11, and turn 12. It's turn 12 that's got the bar. It's got the boards. I thought it was turn 2. Rounds turn 13, goes down to 14. Takes 14 quite nicely, takes 15 nicely. I don't know if that's 16, I'm not too sure. We'll say this is 16. Goes round 17. I don't know if there's even a 17 to be fair, but he thinks he's happy with his lap. And Rev has boxed again. Is he not going to set a lap? I am not too sure, but I'm going to use this quiet time to do what I need to do and get a drink. So you're going to be able to watch Crispy's lap whilst I make a disappearance. I am really sorry to the stream for that. I've just realised I had my mic muted for that entire thing. I didn't realise until only just, so I am sorry about that. I don't know how much of Q1 I had it muted for, but... I believe we're leaving. I'm not too sure. The McLarens have gone out on laps. The Red Bull's about to go on one. But I will update you. I believe it was a red flag, but I'm not too sure if that's 100% at this point. But we will sit fully on board with Wheeze as he goes on his lap. He makes his run into turn 1. He is doing this on the medium tyres. I haven't put any of the information up. Yep, there you go. Right. So we watch Wheeze on his run down to turn 4 now. I'm never good with turn numbers, but for once I've got it. As he takes turn 4 very nicely, doesn't invalidate. Takes turn 5 very nicely, doesn't invalidate on the exit. As he goes through turn 6s and 7. Sorry about that. He goes through the S's now, doesn't invalidate on the S's, very well done from him. Does invalidate on the exit of the S's and he's crashed. Jesus Christ, that was a bit of a big one. That was a very big crash from the McLaren driver here. That was Rev also must have hit the pit wall. Not Rev, Red Hawk. We have Z-Man now on his lap. I'm not sure if it's an official lap. I'm still unaware to what's going on. So Z-Man's at the 1:59. Good time on mediums, to be fair. I believe the new lobby has been set up. I'm not 100% on that still, but we will find out sooner or later. Oddly enough, it tells me who's joined the stream. Okay. I didn't know that. So, anyone watching anything mention? IRL, F1, IRL, anything? Or even in TFR, or any questions? Because I'll answer them while we're sat around. Maybe not, I guess. Oh, Z-Man's pit, he's not going to give us any fun. Yeah, so I'm not we've not got any on-screen entertainment right now for to be watched, which is kind of annoying. So I'm not sure what really to do right now, apart from wait. Right, there you go. New invite. Fun times. Just take a drink. We are joining the new session now. Will be a short 18-minute qualifying. I believe all the drivers are already in, so this will be good, quick for us. I believe we've not got all the drivers actually. I think we're missing one. Or two. No, just one. Maybe. Right. So, as known, we will be in for a short qualifying. Some drivers, and I'll happily sit here and admit I'm one of them, is very bad at short qualifying. I don't know why, I just feel a lot different whilst short qualifying compared to full qualifying on one shot. I don't know if any other drivers in this lobby are the same, but I would assume they are. Because I've obviously done qualifying with many of these drivers before, but yeah, it should be a fun one. Obviously, as usual, we have the full 50% race here. And all of the session settings are at the bottom of the screen, which is, I believe, would be the same for most league racing formats. Unless you've got a tier in a league that's really, really, really shocking. No offense to any other leagues that may have that. I believe we'll be getting this race underway soon. So here we are going in for the short qualifying, very obviously out of the norm. We last, I believe, did this in Russia when we had a lot of drivers not here. Wow, I lose the ability to talk at the moment a lot quicker than I thought I would. Or as I have said many times this season, losing the ability of... Perfect example right there. Losing the ability to vocabulate. As we are here now for the short qualifying? Yes, qualifying. That's how we say it. I've got me wire stuck on something. So we will wait to see which drivers comes out first. We've got to remember that, they've got to remember to keep their setups on. It's going to be one of the racing points. Someone's going to do a medium. It's Joe and Crispy. Okay, Spence and JD out. Going out. And I believe that's Red Hawk and Joe there. No, it's Corey. It's going to be Corey and Joe, isn't it? Yeah. So we will sit on board with Spence for his out lap and his actual lap with the pink Mercedes team. It's a dead joke, but I'm bringing it back. Right, then, as he is now going through the third and final sector, as it is for every single track. We will sit fully on board with him for his lap. He seems to be holding his teammate up a little bit. As he rounds the penultimate corner now, probably, no, that'd be the better line to take. Heading down towards turn 1, down the straight, we will do the offboard, but for the rest of the lap we will stick on the onboard. As Spence goes into turn 1 now, we will go onto the onboard. Taking turn 1 nicely. Turn 2 doesn't invalidate. Turn 3 doesn't have a squirm of the rear end. Yes, he does. I lied. As we make the run down into turn 4. Turn 4 very nicely done. JD taking the fastest sector 1 away from Spence, quite obviously there. He has no loss of the rear end on the exit. Goes through turn 6 and 7. Turn 6 and 7 perfectly fine. Gets a nice run down towards turn 8. Takes turn 8 with the best line you need. Goes around turn 9, 10, 11 and 12. Goes around to 13, rounds 13 over the curbing, but not too much. JD takes the fastest sector 2 away from Spence as well. Spence rounds the final sector here. Getting a... Okay, this camera's just better. Gets a good run through the final sector, goes into the penultimate corner, goes round the final corner, and sets a 1 minute 13.9. Good lap, but it's going to get obliterated by JD, but not by as much as I thought. That is by as much as I thought it was going to be. That's a very big gap there. But the next across the line is Corey, but it was an invalid lap, so it's not going to be very good from him. But Barker will not be next. It will be White in the Ferrari. He sets a 1 minute 14.6. Very slow by him. As Joe is now going to cross the line, probably taking fastest. No, he's not. He's invalid. Haas's both done laps, or one of them has, and it's a 1:15.3. Crispy on a lap now. Williams, a Finn doing a 1:14.2, putting himself into P3. As Red Hawk rounds the final turn, he's invalidated. He's going into the pits. We have Charlie here, invalidated. Wheeze rounding the final turn, set a 1 minute 14.9 on the mediums. Z-Man on the mediums too, rounding the final turn to set a 1 minute 15.8. As the racing points are both coming around, whether they're on another lap or not, I wouldn't know. No, they're not. Doesn't look like it. So next across the line is gonna be Joe Loke, but he's invalid again. Not looking good for him here. As then behind him it will be JRT White, but JRT White's going to box as expected. The next driver will be the Haas of Crispy. He's also invalidated. Looks like he's going to the pits now, possibly for a soft set of tyres. As Zoger is going around the track, but he is got his red light, his rain light on, so he will be harvesting energy, which means he's going to be boxing. The Renault of Charlie now going through sector 3. He is not harvesting, as you can see, which means he is about to finish his lap. And he invalidates there at the penultimate turn and goes into the pits. So the next will be the McLarens. No idea if the McLarens are on a lap. That's Z-Man. This is Wheeze. Wheeze is down on his time, so he's not on a lap. Z-Man is definitely down on his time, so he's definitely not on a lap. Only people out on track now is going to be Z-Man again. He's going to go for another one. So we're going to watch this next one, but Wheeze has also gone for another one. So I guess we're going to see it all unfold in front of us. We'll watch Wheeze first. As I believe Red Hawk's played this quite smart. If he can keep with Wheeze on Wheeze's out lap, then... sorry, Wheeze's flying lap, then he can get the the Sector 1 straight toe thing that we all know and love. But it doesn't look like he's gonna do it, purely because Wheeze is a very, very fast driver here. In this league, definitely one of the front runners, top 3, as he's proved this season. As he invalidates there, as I believe that's probably where most of the drivers have done it. So we're now going to watch Z-Man, who is still valid. He's 2/10 up on his time. Will he do what Wheeze did? No, he won't. He takes it smart. Makes his run. He's set the fastest sector 2 apparently, 3/10 up on his time. He goes through the final section of turns now. Takes a nice line through there, nice line through that turn, and the nice line into the penultimate turn. Rounds the penultimate turn, gets a good exit from the penultimate turn, takes a tight final turn to get to the line quicker. So it's 1 minute 15.5, sorry, I don't know why I read that, 7. Next on a lap will be Red Hawk, and he's just starting his flyer. Sorry. As we watch Red Hawk now doing his way through the about to go through the Sector 2S section. Gets a nice turn 8, goes turn 9, turn 10, turn 11 and 12. Doesn't invalidate on the exit of 12. Goes down to 13. Get on board with him. Fastest Sector 2 locks up slightly there. Goes into what I believe is 14, maybe 15. Goes quite slowly through there in 4th gear, as you can see at the bottom of the screen on his steering wheel. Takes a tight line through the final turn to cross the line for a 1:14.3 going in P5. Really impressing on his Red Bull debut here. The next driver will be... Joe. He's invalid again. Not putting on a good one today, is he? For sure. Unless he's going to pull a Corey and smash everyone at the final bit of qualifying. But we do have a Ferrari of JRT White. Yeah, JRT White, who has just locked up going into Sector 2. But it still shouldn't affect his lap time too badly. It wasn't that big of a lockup. As he makes his run down now to turn 8, the start of the S section. Doesn't invalidate on turn 8. Doesn't invalidate 9, 10, 11 or 12. On the exit 12 though he does, on the entry of 12, sorry, on the apex even. So that's not very fortunate for him, but I believe that's Corey just ahead of him. No, it's not. It's Red Hawk, and I believe Red Hawk is invalid, so we're not going to go for him. We're going to go for Corey, who's going through the S section now behind the Williams. The Williams doesn't block him, stays off the line. But Corey setting the fastest Sector 2 as probably expected, doesn't invalidate, has a bit of a loss of the rear end on the exit there. That is a Renault in the wall, that's JRT Charlie. We're going to have to go on board with the Williams here because I do want to know what happened. Now, he has hit the wall somewhere. Spence setting the fastest lap. Corey must have invalidated. He must have. What did he do? Not having a good time here, but Joe, I believe, is about to cross the line. No, he's not. He's going into the pits. He's still invalid. Rev, though, on his lap going through sector 1. Don't believe he's the next to set a lap, though, because it will be JD who takes pole position away from his teammate by 1/10. Not even that, less than a tenth, but I'm not going to work it out exactly. As we will go back to Corey, who is still on laps. But there is actually Wheeze on soft lap, so we will go with him, because he could possibly be taking pole position on this lap. He rounds through the penultimate corners here, goes round the final corner, takes a very nice tight line, using all the grip on them soft compound tyres. It's a 1:13.5, it's only P3 here. We're going to drop down to Corey now, who is rounding the final corner into the pit lane. Rev is invalid, neither Alfa Romeos. This is a shambles for the Alphas, I'm not gonna lie. That might get me fired, but this is still a shambles for the Alphas. They're definitely not on form here today. Let's go on not Wheeze. Let's go on Barker, because we haven't watched a Ferrari do a lap yet, so let's watch a Ferrari, because Ferrari are all important. Oh, he's going to use that against me, isn't he? He has the fastest sector 1 apparently. As much as I'd like to believe it, I believe that wouldn't be possible with Corey and Wheeze being in existence. As he now makes his run down to turn 8, we're going to go with him through that section on board. Doesn't invalidate, but then does invalidate. On the exit-ish. Or maybe the middle, I'm not too sure. But... and that's one of the Alphas boxing again. We're going to go on board with Joe for his entire lap. And we're going to see where he goes wrong. Because I am curious. Watch it, this one lap we watch him, he's not going to mess up. Makes his run through turn 1, and that's where he does it. That's the commentator's curse right there. As Finn has just drifted past Joe here. Joe probably... yeah, he let him by. As Wheeze boxes, so we're gonna... Zoger's trying to reverse commentator's curse here. He has just told me to tell him he's gonna mess up. So we're gonna say Zoger will mess up and he'll take pole position. Won't take pole position. Gonna have a very bad lap. Same with Rev. Let's just see if we can reverse the commentator's curse here. Rev will not take pole position on his lap. I promise you he won't. Joe's boxed again. Who's this on the way out of the box? Is it Corey? Is it Corey? No, it's not. It's Red Hawk. Corey should really think about leaving the pits now. As Finn is on his lap, so we're going to watch the whole thing. We'll watch his lines through all of these turns. So I've just received some information from the Alfa Romeo garage. Joe has invalidated Sector 1 every single lap. That's Finn boxes. I suppose he's happy with his position because I don't think he's going to have enough time to go out again. As Rev is on his lap, so we're going to watch it. On the onboard or the offboard? We'll watch the off... I'm not even... I have no words for Rev or Joe. They both invalidate either into turn 1 or before turn 1. I feel bad for the both of them, but... So I've also been given the forecast for today's race. It's going to be a fully dry race. By the seams of things. Let's jump not with Z-Man, because he's going slowly. Let's go with Wheeze. No, actually, let's be really annoying to Rev. Let's watch Rev's lap here. Doesn't invalidate on entry. Does he invalidate through the middle? No. That's where he does it again. I'm not gonna make a comment on that. I'm just gonna move on and be happy with life. Let's watch Corey, see where he keeps invalidating, because he hasn't set a timed run yet. That's the fastest Sector 1, takes a very nice turn 4. I was gonna say it looks like that's where he's been doing it, but I guess not. Probably through the S section. No, yeah, there you go. He's not gonna set a lap, I don't think. We are going to watch Joe's entire lap just to cheer him on. Joe will do really bad here. He will have a bad lap. We're going to reverse commentator's curse. Let's watch it. Let's watch this reverse work. Takes turn 1. Jesus Christ, he's done it. Not turn 2. No! Ah, he's doing it, guys. Let's come on. Let's go, Joe. Corey not setting a lap. He's going to be starting in last. Other than Rev. Joe locks up through there. Joe will now enter the S section. Is he going to invalidate like Corey? No, he's not. I think Joe's just looking to set a cautious lap now. Goes through there very nicely. He's actually made Sector 1 and 2 work this time. I don't think he's done that yet. I don't think he's actually made Sector 2 at all yet. Doesn't invalidate, keeps it valid. Keeps it valid, rounds the final turn. And crosses the line and takes P2. Nearly pole position, separated by literally... What's that, a hundredth of a second? Or is that a tenth? No, it's a hundredth, isn't it? Yes, it's a hundredth. So here is your qualifying grid order today. Starting on the front row is JD and Joe. On the second row is Spence and Wheeze. The third row is Barker and White, a Ferrari third row. Fourth row, Finn and Crispy. Crispy's best start in a while, I believe. On the fifth row, it's Red Hawk and Charlie. And on the sixth row, it's Zoger and Z-Man. And on the seventh row, it's Stevie and Rev, and on the final row it's Corey. I think I've got that wrong slightly somewhere, but we'll find out. Someone will shout at me. So I'm gonna go and refill my drink for the formation lap. Give me a minute. I am back just in time. I timed that perfectly. Right. Z-Man starting on hard is incredible strategy there. As it's lights out and away we go here. JRT JD getting away well, with Rev getting a much better start though, going up into the lead of this race. As the rest of the grid is changing and I've lost focus. Joe leads into turn 1 now, forward. As JD does run wide to overtake Joe, so maybe that might class an illegal overtake, who knows, we're not too sure. As down the order, Z-Man on the hards. No, that's not Z-Man, sorry, Z-Man on the hards has fell back positions. I'm not sure how many, but Corey's got up into 10th so far. JD is round. Sorry, I've completely missed that. As Joe leads through the S's, JRT Barker though all over his rear end. Both Ferraris on the podium at the moment. Lots of drivers running wide through there. But not much going on apart from the Haas and the Renault here. Getting very close, Stoker going up the inside. The Renault trying to defend it around the outside, going into the inside for the next turn. Which becomes the outside for the next, and the rest of the turns until the start of the next lap. But he makes it work by the looks of things on the softer compound tyres, going around the outside. And yeah, he's got it, I think. No, he's just missed out. Zoger's keeping ahead here. as the drivers behind him are going side by side as well, Rev and Stevie, but Stevie has pulled out of that one. As Zoger is still fighting Charlie and Charlie's still fighting Zoger. Both cars ghosted at the moment, I'm not too sure why. But jumping further up, I guess here's the predicted pit stop strategies here. Joe's predicted strategy is a soft medium by the looks of things. As they're still fighting here. Renault has spun though, Charlie has spun, and that's given Zoger wing damage. That's very unfortunate there for Zoger, but Charlie has also got wing damage. As Rev is just gone completely off the circuit here, 3-second time penalty. He's also got wing damage. What's gone on in these first couple of laps? Jesus Christ. First couple of laps, first 2 laps even. As Rev and Charlie side by side, Charlie defending with his life with his wing damage here. Rev is going very aggressive here, up the inside. Charlie trying to keep it around the outside with his wing damage though. Now inside, has the inside for the next 2 turns, is going to have the pit lane entry, which both of them need. And Rev is choosing to stay out. Fair play to this driver. Very bold move. But here is Spence going up the inside of Crispy into turn 1 here. Keeps the inside line. Crispy doesn't try to defend it. He knows Spence is a much faster driver. And Spence takes the positions here. We've got the Red Bulls 6 and 7, but Rev has crashed, and that's a full course caution. Full course caution. We're going to go on board with Charlie to find out what actually happened. His car's disappeared. It's too late. Well, off of lap 1, we're going to look at the position changes. As Corey incredibly making up 8 positions, JD unfortunately losing 9. Barker and White both gaining 3, we staying in the same position. Red Hook gaining 3, making an impressive start to his Red Bull debut. Sorry, Joe did box there for the mediums, as I'm not too sure who else did. Let me have a look, because I know everyone started on soft, so I can probably tell you. Everyone boxed for the mediums or the hards. Z-Man's strategy here has kind of played into his hands, but not fully. Stevie hasn't boxed, and neither has Corey. Corey knowing he can stick practically to his original strategy. As somehow Charlie's picked up a 3-second damage safety car. I don't know if he's like overly pushing it to catch up. So this is the the first of the final 3 rounds. Next week we'll be at Brazil and then Abu Dhabi for the season finale. And then that will be the last, I believe, don't quote me on this, nobody quote me on this. I believe that will be the final season of official F1 on TFR. I believe we'll be having things in between this end of this season and the next release, but I'm not exactly sure. I'm not filled in on the plans, so I won't say things I'm not too sure about, but I'm pretty sure on that, on what I have said. But what I do know is it will be entertaining if we have these events streamed. Whatever happens, even if it's just a shorter season, which it could be for all I know. If on the restart, if Stevie places his car well, which I know he can, he could realistically slow everyone else down, and that would give Corey an amazing advantage. Considering he's on these mediums, he's already got an advantage over the rest of the field, because he's in first and he's started on the mediums. And yeah, I believe so, yeah, I believe he has got a major advantage over everyone here. All because Stevie stayed out. Safety car is in this lap. So we will watch with Corey as he goes away for the restart. He's keeping a relatively quick pace. Not too sure if I'm being stupid. No, I'm not. I am being stupid. As he chooses to go now, by the looks of things, activating his ERS and going into rich mix, I'd assume. He's already got a 6/10 gap to Stevie, which is going to really help him here, because that means Stevie won't get the good enough slipstream to catch him into turn 1. But further back, it looks like Rev is catching up to the back of Z-Man, going to possibly make a move, but further back, the Williams of Finn, I think, just went up the inside of Wheeze. We look through the grid, nothing's really gone on, but Corey is leading. Stevie has gained 2/10 back on Corey. That's very unusual to be saying. No offense to Stevie there, but Corey is definitely a much better driver. But Joe's just gone around the outside of Z-Man by the looks of things. Z-Man not really being able to fight it because he is on the hard compound tyre. He will slowly start falling back, but it might give him an advantage later in the race, but that is one of the Ferraris off. Not too sure why. But he has got wing damage, so I'd assume it was contact. Pretty obvious one. As Joe, look at the rapid pace he's got catching up to Stevie here, goes around, goes for the outside of Stevie. Stevie defending it, not too heavily. Joe goes around the outside. Joe's already not out the ERS for this lap. Stevie is falling down the order. This has given Joe clean space to catch up to Corey on the well, not much fresher, but it's still fresher. Fresh rubber can make a lot of difference. The only difference is I believe Corey's much better at conserving RS than Joe is. Yeah, there you go, look. 74-33. As yellow flags, but it seems to be nothing, but the Renault of Charlie is... What? Okay. Zoger and Charlie very close together here. Zoger's going to look to make a move around the outside of Charlie, and he's on the hard, so it's not going to work. Don't know where he was thinking that was going to go, but Crispy has let Red Hook through. I'm quite confused as to why, but Finn looks for the inside of Z-Man. Z-Man has lost positions here, won quite a few since the restart. Finn looks to hold that position. Wheeze has just been let through by Z-Man. I'd assume it was being let through anyway, because Wheeze is definitely the faster driver in the pair. No offense to Z-Man again, I'm not trying to offend any of the drivers, just giving my honest opinion. As Barker catches up to Stevie now, who had a very interesting line through there. Barker will go up the inside of Stevie into this turn 13, I believe. And that will be the position secured for him, so it's Williams 4 and 5, Ferrari 3 and 14. Was a 2 and 3 at some point, as Corey is literally gaining on Joe rapidly here. Whether that's just DRS burning or not, it looks like it, considering the difference, but this will give Joe an advantage soon, because he will have DRS. But further back, there is about to be a position gained here by Wheeze on Finn. Wheeze looks for a move on the outside of Finn. Finn with 0% ERS there. Not very good ERS holding by him. Neither by Wheeze, but Wheeze has a reason not to. Wheeze needs to finish on the podium. Or wants to finish on the podium, I should say. But Joe here is really about to stick himself in the gearbox of Corey. But there is moves further back as Stevie is getting overtaken by both Racing Points in one turn, but the Racing Point ghosted through and the Racing Point is definitely lagging quite a bit. And he's in the wall with no damage, so I'm quite confused. As a lot of drivers just picked up penalties, but back here it looks like that Red Bull is in a Haas sandwich. Crispy is gaining onto the back of him. It's going to be tight soon. But Joe here is the battle I want to be focusing on. This isn't a fight for the championship anymore, but it is a fight for dignity on track. There's a yellow flag. It looks like one of the Haas's was round. I'm not going to check just yet. I'll find out if he goes into the pits, and if he does, I will look. But Joe's going up the inside here of Corey, down to turn 1. He's going to have the move complete before turn 1. He should have DRS as well on the next straight because of the double DRS zone. I might be wrong there. No, I'm not. He will have the DRS. He will be able to pull away a bit. Looks like Crispy in the Haas did have wing damage. Yep, missing a section of the wing and an end plate. Corey didn't, Joe didn't gain too much, or get away from Corey too much there. Unfortunately for him, but Barker is looking pretty secure and happy in P3 at the moment. We go further down the grid, there is a three-way fight here. D-Man trying to keep his positions on them hard compound tyres, but the Renault and the Williams just seem to be proving too much of a challenge on the fresher tyres. But them softs for Stevie will be dying out pretty soon. As Red Hawk is also now gaining up to the back of Stevie. But I do feel bad for Red Hawk here. He is suffering all the dirty air through the S's, and it's not going to be very nice for him. Although Corey and Joe are about to make a move onto the main straight. Joe has pulled a second gap to Corey, but will Corey have the DRS? We will find out now. Corey does not have the DRS, but his pit window is open for the hard two-stop strategy. Will he take the opportunity to box though, or will he try and keep up with Joe? As Stevie has boxed here, we will see what he goes for. I'd assume it's going to be another set of softs, but... no, it's going to be a set of mediums, fair enough to him. So we will go on board with the racing again, as Joe is keeping that consistent second gap to Corey now, but there is a lot of fighting going on in the midfield here. They seem quite spread out, but they were much closer on the mini-map. On the track map, I should say, not the mini-map. Well, it is a mini-map, but it's technically also not. I'm going to stop. The midfield, though, is very tight, like I said. I say the midfield at the back half of the midfield. It's definitely not the back runners, but still the back half. As Z-Man is kind of making the strategy work for him at the moment. Because he's sticking with Charlie, and Charlie is slowly gaining on the mid-pack, so he should get there eventually. Corey now about to drop down to 2 seconds on Joe. He's not going to take his opportunity to box, though. As the pit window is still open for him this lap. Closed for Joe, so Joe will not be planning to pit at least for another 4 or 5 laps yet, maybe. As his 4-lap fresher mediums are generally proving to be quite a lot better than the 10-lap old mediums. My throat's really dry. Let me drink a second, sorry, 1 sec. As Red Hawk is out of, well, basically out of the RS, but is catching on Z-Man quite rapidly here. But Z-Man's tyres are soon to be fresher than his, because obviously mediums will die quicker than hards. Everyone knows that. As Wheeze is pulling away from Finn now, even though Wheeze is on those hard compound tyres, Finn is keeping it within a second though, fair enough to him. I believe for Joe and Corey it's going to be a game of penalties today. Who can pick up the least warnings, who can pick up the least amount of penalties. We are going to check who's got warnings and who's got penalties actually. Joe has 3 warnings, but I assume one of them would be for contact. And Corey's got 2 warnings. So Corey on the verge of a penalty, Joe on the verge of a penalty. This could be a race decided on penalties, and I believe it will be. I mean, it is Mexico of all places, so... But the Red Bull here is going to be catching up to Z-Man, but thankfully I believe Z-Man will have the DRS to save him. He will, but Charlie looks like to be in the clutches of Z-Man here. Charlie's going to be overtaken on this straight or the next one. It'll probably be this one though. Z-Man looks to the inside. Goes up the inside. Charlie keeps it and defends around the outside. But Z-Man is going to have DRS again for the next zone. We'll have a worse exit on traction. Well, somewhat worse. But Charlie is not going to get away well enough, and Z-Man will send it up the inside here into turn 4. And he's going to take the outside line this time. Charlie just keeping ahead, forcing Z-Man wide. Z-Man should get that penalty removed, I'd say. That was very unjust by the game. But back at the back, it's fighting. Whether at the back or the front, it's fighting nonetheless. It's not a fight because he's given up. And White has... I'm confused. I am very confused. Okay. As Corey is not boxing yet. I thought he would have, to be fair, because the game wants him to, but I guess he is a Sergio Perez on them tyres, as Charlie is losing the rear end there. D-Man will definitely have a massive run on Charlie down into turn 1. And possibly leading with Red Hawk to overtake too. Going to be 3 wide down there, now 2 wide, now, yeah, sticks it 2 wide, and that's Charlie losing out in 2 positions there and then. Very unfortunate for him. This is a very close midfield fight though, in all fairness. But Charlie again being the only one here without DRS, but he is keeping here. And he has got much more ERS than Red Hawk and Z-Man. Not a lot more than Z-Man, but still more than Red Hawk, and more than one driver is enough. Especially when you're fighting so closely. Is Charlie gonna look for the outside for the start of the S's? That's a very risky one. You can just see there that the tyres are already pretty shot. And they're mediums, they're only 8 laps old, but they look and don't look like they feel the best at all anymore. I wonder how Corey's feeling on them 13 lap olds. They don't look nice either. Oh god. As the midfield pack, as we go back to that, it looks like Red Hawk's going to have Z-Man, but possibly by the end of the straight. But Charlie has fell off too much to do anything here. Red Hawk not being able to use the RS, Z-Man is fully able to use the RS. Red Hawk is out of the RS completely. He's got nothing to fight with, not even medium. So he is going to have to rely on the next DRS zone and his 14% ERS here to get past Z-Man with his 50% ERS. It's not going to be enough. Not going to get close enough unless he sends a massive dive. But the Ferrari and the Racing Point fighting for P3 here. They look very close on track and they were very close on the timing screen. Sorry. This Corey picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's... Joe knows he can be a bit risky here now and extend at least once. If he needs to. As him and Corey are on the same number of penalties. No, they're not, but they will be if Joe extends like he might want to. But Spence here in the McLaren? That's a McLaren now. Yep, the pink McLaren. That's what we're calling it now. In the Racing Point, heading with the DRS on Barker, heading down into turn 1. This could be a move for P3. It's going to be a move for P3, and he's going to take the move for P3. And then he's going to have DRS on the next straight as well, so Barker fighting this back is really honestly pointless. But Barker is round. That looked like contact. Was it contact? Probably. Let's wheeze up into P4 on the 10 lap old hards. This is putting him Wheezy in a very nice position here. But further back the grid, we have our midfield fight here still. Looks like Charlie's going to go for a move up the inside on Red Hawk. He nearly hits the back of Z-Man there. This fight is going to give Z-Man a bit of space to go. Crispy picks up a 5 second for speeding in the pit lane. Crispy retires in the pit lane. And these two are going to go side by side into the start of the S's. They're going to go side by side for this S as well. Major stuff from these two. Fair enough. I would not have the confidence for that. But Red Hawk has come out better realistically because he's got the DRS, going to make it into turn 13. He's going to dive into turn 13. That's a big lunge. Red Hawk has just gained a lasting advantage there on off track, but did pick up a 3-second time penalty for it. And now he's going to have DRS as well. Personally, if I was him, I wouldn't use... No, he's not. Charlie is. I was going to say, if I was Red Hawk, I wouldn't be using the DRS, just because I know I overtook off track. But, you know, Barker's in a really good position here. He could pick up a podium still. People ahead of him all have penalties and he doesn't. But that's Zoger round? No? No, it's just Josh's car. If we go into the midfield again, Red Hawk has lost touch with Z-Man. No, he hasn't. He's getting back there, but Charlie is also losing touch with Red Hawk a bit. Now Barker picks up a 3-second time penalty, so the advantage I said he had is gone. As we have 20 laps remaining in this Mexican Grand Prix. Joe begins lap 17. Corey is boxing, just able to keep it under the limit. He does box for a set of hards here. And he's not going. Oh, maybe he is. My eyes deceive me. Z-Man, is Corey going to beat Z-Man out of the pits? Is Corey going to beat Z-Man out of the pits? No, he's not. He's not going to beat his teammate, but his teammate probably will let him by because he knows who's faster. But Charlie here, he is not going to let him by. Charlie is definitely going to put up a fight. Charlie vying for all the position he possibly can. But further up, the Red Bull is round. Red Hawk is round in the Red Bull. That's very unfortunate. That's major there. That's a major collision. Jesus Christ. Sorry, Charlie. Sorry to say that, but Charlie is definitely at fault for that collision. And he has just also reset track. Charlie 100% at fault for the collision with the Red Bull there that has caused only a virtual safety car. So if Joe wanted to, he could box for hards and go to the end. And it wouldn't lose him too much time, but he's not going to do it by the looks of things. I'm not too sure what went on there. Well, I am too sure. But everyone in this race is safe to say to get points. That was very unfortunate for Corey, but not Corey's fault. As we're back under green flag running here, now none of the gaps are close, annoyingly. That collision kind of spread the field a bit, and a few people I believe made pit stops, such as Finn, who's gone for mediums, possibly hoping to take him to the end. I doubt he will though. Spence did gain 3 seconds on Joe through that VSC. I'm not sure what he did, but he definitely did it. I do wonder when Joe's pit window is though, because Corey was on their mediums for at least 16 laps, so will Joe take him 16 laps? Or will he box now? No, he's going to stay out. We're going to see what all the drivers do here. What will Spence do? That's Charlie has taken out 2 Red Bulls in this race. Efficiently, only one of them survived, but either way it shouldn't have happened. But Joe, unless he has a major incident, has won this race by a long shot. As Finn might possibly get DRS on Red Hawk here. No, he won't. But Finn is on much fresher tyres than Red Hawk, so should catch him at a rate of knots. Right, as Finn is catching up to the back of Red Hawk, he won't have DRS here, but it looks like for the next zone he will, but Finn might not even need it. He might be past Red Hawk by that point with these fresher tyres. I'm going to focus on these two since it's the closest on-track fight I've got. They go through the S's. Finn keeping touch with Red Hawk, but he is going to suffer the dirty air. Red Hawk losing a rear end slightly there. Finn going to have DRS here. Finn will not... Will Finn make the move, or is he going to be smart and wait? No, he's going to make the move. I would have waited. The intervals have gone, great. But I would have waited until Joe... Yeah, why wouldn't you have waited? Till Red Hawk... There we go, sorry. But there are no more on close track... I cannot do this today. On track close fights. There we go, I said it. Unless you count Joe lapping JD, which would be fun to watch. Sorry, I keep not focusing. But there's really nothing much going on. Mexico, as I believe, is comprised of 13 turns. If none of you figured that out in qualifying, Barker pits. We will see what Barker goes on to. I don't know, there are some people who are going to take the mick out of the way I pronounce my R's. Barker goes for the mediums, so I believe Z-Man's probably going to go for the medium. Hard, sorry, and Z-Man will go for the mediums. Yep. Red Hawk gets a 5-second speeding in the pit lane. What's Zoga going to go for? Probably the same strategy as Z-Man, I believe. Yep. Red Hawk also doing what Z-Man was doing. All the drivers are going on to fresh mediums here, which has put Finn up into P4. Both drivers ahead of him after bot. Finn could be on for a really good result here. Finn could be on for P2, you know. Because Spence is only, what, 15, 16 seconds ahead of him. Pit lane isn't very long, but Finn is on fresh tyres already, so he will be gaining. So even if Wheeze pits, Finn could probably... Finn might get a... I hope he gets a podium. And even if he doesn't, then well done to Finn. Because looking at the thing, not only is he... and Wheeze got 6 seconds of penalties. No, he could do it. He will be my driver of the day if it happens. If he can get a podium, he will be my driver of the day. I don't care what the game says, he will be the driver of the day. I want Finn for driver of the day. Anyways. Yeah, so Finn's only 36 seconds back of Joe, so if Joe pits, nothing can come out of it. But the other guys, if they pit, something can happen. Oh, I've only just realised there's a 20-second gap to Wheeze. Don't worry, ignore me. His interval wasn't showing up, ignore me. I've just waffled for ages about the fact that Finn could get a podium, which he won't. Finn has just picked up another penalty as well. This is very amazing racing for you to watch here. I'd like another safety car preferably, just to bunch them back up. See, you'd think the midfield would be so close together. The rate they boxed, they all boxed roughly the same time. And they were all fighting so closely together for so long. So, if Finn can pick up the pace a bit, sorry, I know I keep reverting back to Finn, but it's necessary. If Finn can pick up the pace a small touch, he could realistically be getting a podium place here. Only if he picks up the pace, though. Otherwise, I believe that's off the table. So I'm gonna, since there's no racing going on, give you a standings update, even though it's pointless, because this championship has been won, but I suppose the bottom standings can still change. So we have Corey winning the championship already, he's 321 points. Joe 206 points, second in the championship. Wee's 108, third in the 184, sorry, third in the championship. JD in the Racing Point, 179 points, fourth in the championship. Tadpole the fifth with 152. Spence 148 in sixth. Barker 96 in seventh. Finn 71 in eighth. Z-Man ninth with 62, and Bass in 10th with 53. My former teammate. And I'm going to get constructors as well. Red Bull Racing, I'm going to say it in order, I'm not going to number it because my brain hurts. But Red Bull Racing leading the championship by nearly 100 points with 420. Alfa Romeo 356, Racing Point 263, McLaren 254, Ferrari 176, Williams 120, Mercedes 103, Haas 103, Renault 70, AlphaTauri 38. Joe picks up a 3-second time penalty that he also boxes. So, he's got a puncture. Holy. He is lucky. Joe is lucky. Going on to a set of softs. Gonna try and take softs 10 laps. Wow. I don't think they're going to take the softs to the engine. I'm really not confident in them. Yeah. They won't make it, I don't think. Wee's leading, though. He could take these to the end, in all fairness. And I think he will. And I have all confidence that he will. But it's a matter of if Joe can catch up. 16 seconds. In these remaining 10 laps. 11 laps. One of the two. Stevie boxing again for, I'd assume, softs as well, like everyone else. Nope, fresh mediums. Fair enough. Oh, sorry. But Spence is catching up to Joe now on these fresher tires, on the exact same tires. These two are going to be level playing field for the rest of the race. Spence is also going to have DRS by the looks of it. We'll find out now as we enter the straight. As Red Bull picks up 3-second time penalty. Spence does not have DRS, but he did set fastest sector 3. Weeze has boxed for fresh softs. And Finn has come out in P7 on the podium. No, he's not. He come out in P3 on the podium. Why did I say P7? Who knows? Although, he does have to fight Weeze, and that is going to be difficult. It's a lot to ask. But even P4, he'll still be my driver today. But again, him fighting Weeze is a lot to ask. I've been there, and I've tried, and it doesn't work that well. Spence and Joe for the rest of this race will be battling for the lead. Spence, though, picks up another penalty. Joe has won if he can stay 3 seconds. If he can keep the 3 seconds behind him or ahead of him. If he can stay in P1, he's won, and if he can keep 3 seconds, if Spence passes, then he's also won. Wee's getting past Finn there, Finn not fighting it. Finn knowing it'll lose him time. Although in the long run we'll gain him a bit of time with the DRS on the main straight. Sorry, Joe sets fastest lap with a 1:16 something. Sorry, I didn't see it. As Finn now gets the double DRS from Weeze. As somehow Red Hawk and Stevie are on 20 seconds of time penalties. That's going to be an interesting one for the stewards. As Finn gets his second boost of DRS here, we're going to go down to the pointless fight. It's not really a fight because no one's really doing anything, do not worry. This is a very interesting fight here. Not fight. I keep saying a fight, it's not really a fight. So, they're together again. Red Hawk is catching up. All fairness to him. So we will watch it, because it's on-track action, and that's what I'm wanting so badly. As Red Hawk will have the DRS on Zoger now, and he's going to try for the outside line, because Zoger's going to heavily defend that inside line. As they come together slightly, Zoger defending, I'd say pointlessly, because now Red Hawk's going to have the double DRS zone. And that is where he will get past. So Zoger has just pointlessly defended that position. In my opinion, anyway. Because Zoger could have let him through, had the DRS, and got back past. And from what we've seen in recent weeks, Zoger had the pace to do that. But Red Hawk clearly is just not even making use of this DRS. He's not getting anywhere. Oh, Zoger's used a lot of his, kept a lot of his DRS. Okay. As Red Hawk picks up another 3-second time penalty. So that makes him fighting Zoger him and Zoger fighting even more pointless. Zoger could just let him through. As long as he stays 17 seconds behind him, it doesn't matter. Maybe his race engineer hasn't told him, or I'm not too sure. But Red Hawk is going to have the DRS once again, but he's not going to be close enough. Locks up through there. Doesn't lock up through here. Doesn't, well, I don't know, I was going to say, shouldn't lock up through there anyway. Locks up there, somehow. And gets a decent exit, but not as good as Zoger's, but he's much closer for the DRS this time, I believe. Zoger's going to defend before he even needs to. And Z-Man, sorry, Red Hawk is just not going to get there, I don't think. Yeah, no, Red Hawk just can't get close enough. Locks up quite bigly into turn 1 again. Oops, doesn't cost him a position. Not position, doesn't cost him any time. It will cost him some tyre life. And Zoger this time is just going to let it happen. He knows, I think he's been told now, that the fight is pointless. But it looks like Zoger might still be trying to, though. Which, again, I don't understand why. But, I mean, I'm happy to see it, because it gives us some entertainment towards the end of this race. As we enter the 30th lap of the 36 lap race. Again, Mexico, I believe, being just a bit longer than Austria. About 10 seconds longer than Austria, but still one of the shortest tracks on the calendar. Or at least at the moment. Until next season. Although Brazil is shorter, isn't it? Yeah, I think Brazil's shorter, so... But Mexico, it just seems like such a long track with the straight. And I guess once you get to the end of the main straight, it doesn't go any further, like, out. It doesn't spread out. Whereas other tracks, it sort of does. Just the main straight down, then S's, and then back to the main straight, really. That's all Mexico is. Sorry about the yawn, I'm quite tired today. Apologies for that being on the stream. As we start lap 31 with Joe now. But these two still being the closest on-track fight, but that looks like to be a much better one with the Ferrari and the Williams. Something we saw in IRL F1 season last year. Ferrari versus Williams was a very common occurrence. And it looks like it's going to be one here today. As we head down into turn 1 with these two. Barker not being stupid, not burning any ERS, knowing he can get Finn on the next straight because he is now close enough. There you go, he's got it already, look. Nope, that's the worst camera angle this game could have given me then. As Barker goes around the outside of Finn, Finn defending it. Finn possibly going around the outside of Barker here at turn 5. As they head into turn 6, as your commentator is slowly dying. Finn drifts around that corner. There we go. My voice has worked again. As Joe did pick up a penalty, them softs must already be losing their touch because, I mean, it looked like it happened in a place where it shouldn't have. But the Ferrari and the Williams still really close together, but that's a lapped car there. Ferrari and the Williams still close together. Finn is going to look to have a Barker here on the back straight, main straight. With their double DRS. As Finn is catching and catching and catching, but he's not going to be close enough unless he tries the outside, swerves to the inside, doesn't send it too bigly, but still sends it slightly. Loses a bit with the rear. Then keeps with Barker, goes full on the throttle. Possibly going to make a bit of a lunge into turn 4 here. Doesn't make the lunge. Makes Barker think he was going to though, and Barker locks up. This is a great fight here for P4 in this race. As Red Hawk and Stevie are going 1 for 1 with penalties, they're both on 23, so next to go to 26, and then the other will go to 26, and it's just going to keep going like that by the looks of things. But I guess both of them are happy knowing they will not lose out on points in this race. And no one can really go further down than 9th. Sorry again for the yawn. I need to stop doing that and sleep properly. No real on-track fights again, so we're just going to watch Joe for the lead. We can be judgmental of his laps. Sorry, I just needed to take a bit of a drink. As my throat is very dry, even though I've not done too much talking since the action with Corey. Nearly 20 laps ago, Jesus, 10 laps ago, 20 laps. No, 20 laps. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. But it was good of Charlie to retire anyway, knowing that he did completely murder another driver. Finn now needs to get back within the 3-second range of Barker, but he's not going to because Barker is just going to have fresher tyres now for the rest of this race. Even when his tyres die off, he will still be fresher on the tyres. Let's check warnings for Joe, because Joe could still lose this race on penalties. So there's all that penalty warning and a penalty, so he's got 2 warnings left that he can take. So he's got to be quite careful really, but it's a very spread out grid here. I say grid, we've not been on the grid now for 34 laps, but a very spread out field. Let's go with that. As JD picks up another penalty, so he's taking his tally to 9 seconds. Well, it did look like Racing Point were on for a good race until that happened on lap 1 and 2. And then from that point onwards, JD just sort of spiraled down and Spence had a good one. Again, I feel really bad for Corey on his retirement. Shouldn't have happened. think Wheeze is barely pushing, but there was... Finn has boxed. I wonder if Finn... he might be going for fastest lap, maybe. So... we're going to stick with Finn then, because he's going to catch up to people pretty quickly, and he should fight them. Oh, wait, he's just penultimate lap of the race, maybe not. And there you go, I told you, Red Hawk would get one and then Stevie would get one. So, as all the drivers except P5 and below have started the final lap of the race. I believe Finn should have stayed out realistically, kept his track position that he had. As we will actually, we're going to watch Finn for this whole flying lap. We're going to sit on board with him, but what we will once people start to, after people start to cross the line. So as Joe rounds the final corner here, getting the spray and pray and stuff from Mexico as he crosses the line to not win this race. He does win this race, sorry. Spence takes P2. Wee's going to round the final turn now to take P3. Barker going through the smoke of Mexico here. It's the name I'm naming this, the Mexican grandstands. And he's going to cross the line to take a very laggy P4. With Z-Man a good distance behind, going to be taking P5 as he goes through the grandstands. But we're going to watch Finn now because he's going to end his flying lap. He's got the low fuel mode on, so... or not the low fuel, but the red thing. He might be conserving now. He rounds the final turn. Is he going to take the fastest lap? No, he doesn't take the fastest lap, but he does take P7. As JD now rounds the final corner. Very unfortunate race for him. He's going to take P9. As he just goes in for a head-on collision with Joe. So here, the drivers are making their way onto the podium positions now. Just getting up there. As they're coming out now, that's Joe taking a selfie on the podium, raising his trophy. And here goes the champagne. Very well driven race from Joe. It's a shame Corey wasn't there to challenge him for the race win. That would have made this race a lot more entertaining for the rest of us to watch. But it was still a good race nonetheless, with Wheeze picking up P3, Spence picking up 2, and Joe winning the race. So that's the end of the TFR F1 race today here around 20 at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. I did say that right earlier. Good. Will join us next week with Finn in the booth for F2 around Monza, and where actually the constructors' title can be decided. And join us for round 21. Join me for round 21 for Formula 1 TFR next week. But until then, nothing really. I don't know why I said that. But goodbye. Hope you've all enjoyed.